Welcome back, everybody. House, please come to order. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Are there any communications?
There are no communications.
If none, I move that we adjourn the current legislative day.
House stand adjourned. Let's come to order. Ms. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Bomback.
Present.
Mr. Bomback present. Ms. Bennett.
Present.
Ms. Bennett present. Mr. Benz.
Present.
Mr. Benz present. Ms. Bolden.
Present.
Ms. Bolden present. Mr. Brady.
Present.
Mr. Brady present. Mrs. Briggs King.
Present.
Mrs. Briggs King present. Mr. Bush.
Present.
Mr. Bush present. Mr. Carson. Mr. Carson absent.
Present.
Mr. Carson present. Mr. Chicocha.
Present.
Mr. Chicocha present. Mr. Collins.
Present.
Mr. Collins present. Mr. Cook.
Present.
Mr. Cook present. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Present.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker present. Mr. Dukes.
Present.
Dukes present. Mr. Gray.
Present.
Mr. Gray present. Mrs. Griffith.
Present.
Mrs. Griffith present. Mrs. Heffernan.
Present.
Mrs. Heffernan present. Mr. Hensley.
Present.
Mr. Hensley present. Mr. Jakes.
Present.
Mr. Jakes present. Mrs. Johnson. Mrs. Johnson absent. Mr. Q Johnson.
Present.
Mr. Q Johnson present. Mr. Kowalko.
Present.
Mr. Kowalko present. Mrs. Longhurst.
Present.
Mr. Longhurst. Mrs. Longhurst present. Mr. Lynn.
Present.
Mr. Lynn present. Mr. Matthews.
Present.
Mr. Matthews present. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Present.
Mrs. Minor Brown present. Mr. Mitchell.
Present.
Mr. Mitchell present. Mr. Morris.
Present.
Mr. Morris present. Mr. Osinski.
Present.
Mr. Osinski present. Mr. Postles.
Present.
Mr. Postles present. Mr. Ramon.
Present.
Mr. Ramon present. Mr. Siegfried.
Present.
Mr. Siegfried present. Mr. Short.
Present.
Mr. Short present. Mr. Shoup.
Present.
Mr. Shoup present. Mr. Smith.
Present.
Mr. Smith present. Mr. Smick.
Present.
Mr. Smick present. Mr. Spiegelman. Mr. Spiegelman absent. Mr. Vanderwin.
Present.
Mr. Vanderwin present. Mr. Viola.
Present.
Mr. Viola present. Mrs. Williams.
Present.
Mrs. Williams present. Mr. Yerrick.
Present.
Mr. Yerrick present. Mr. Speaker.
Present.
Mr. Speaker present.
Representative Kendra Johnson.
Present.
Mrs. Johnson from absent, 2 mark present.
Representative Spiegelman.
Present.
Mr. Spiegelman from absent, 2 mark present. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 41 yes.
The quorum being present, the House of Representatives is formally in session. Each member's identity has been authenticated by the presiding officer. The prayer for today will be offered by Representative Kendra Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Dear Lord, Creator of all, give us the patience to be compassionate and helpful toward others, and to know when it is best to remain quiet. Give us the clarity to be grateful for all that we have, and to realize when we have something to give to others. Give us the capacity to love and forgive others. Give us the serenity to find happiness and peace in each day. Give us the knowledge to take responsibility for our mistakes and the ability to let go of things and people who no longer serve us and help us grow. Give us the power to be greater than fear and larger than hate. Let us have the capability to live in the moment, dance in the rain, sing in the shower, and live life to its fullest. Give us the understanding of embattled individuals who are struggling and the power to not take attacks personally. Let us have the perspective to see the bigger picture in all situations we may face. Let us have the potential to change what we can change and do what we can to make this world a better place. And most of all, Lord, let us have the intelligence to realize that most of these traits already exist within us. Give us the strength, curiosity, and courage to find them deep within ourselves and others. And Lord, as we remember today, as the 70th anniversary of the Korean War, please continue to bless our vets, our current military members, and their families. We praise you, we honor you, we thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Before we go to Pledge of Allegiance, I have several requests for moments of silence. Representative Spiegelman has requested a moment of silence for former Representative Donald Clark, served from 1982 to 1994, and he represented the 29th Representative District. Representative Briggs King has asked for a moment of silence for Virginia Pepper, who was 101 years old, and Russell Conaway. Representative Dorsey Walker has asked for a moment of silence for Bernice Meeks and Adelaide Tate, who were matriarchs of their families. And Representative Mida Brown has asked for a moment of silence for Keita Dean, who was her cousin. Bow your heads, please. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes of the previous legislative day have been posted and without objection will be accepted as posted. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the rules be suspended which interfere with the action of consent agenda H.
I have a second. It's been moved and seconded that rules be suspended for action on House Consent Agenda H, consisting of House Bill 353, Senate Bill 201 with Senate Amendment 1, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 229, Senate Bill 236 and 245. Mr. Clerk, please read in Consent Agenda H by number only.
Mr. Speaker, House Consent Agenda H, consisting of the following bills: House Bill 235, Senate Bill 201 with Senate Amendment 1, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 229, Senate Bill 236, and Senate Bill 245. Two-thirds vote required. Mr. Speaker, that concludes the reading of Consent Agenda H.
Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to, well, Representative Longhurst, I'm sorry. No. Please call the roll on the suspension rules, please.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chakotay.
Yes.
Mr. Chakotay, yes. Mr. Collins.
No.
Mr. Collins, no. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q. Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris, absent. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
No.
Mr. Postles, no. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short.
Yes.
Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Voting yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwyn.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwyn, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Representative Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris from absent to voting yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call on the motion, 39 yes, 2 no.
Having received the required number of votes, the rules have been suspended for Consent Agenda H, which is now before us. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Consent Agenda H consists of 5 pieces of legislation. House Bill 353, sponsored by Representative Ozinski, an act to amend Title 19 related to the non-charging of COVID-19 related unemployment benefits to employers. Senate Bill 201 with Senate Amendment 1, sponsored by Representative Minor Brown, an act to amend Title 16 of the Delaware Code relating to perinatal quality collaboration. Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 229, sponsored by Representative Vanderwin, an act to amend the Town of Bridgeville Charter relating to disqualification of elective officers. Senate Bill 236, sponsored by Representative Schwarzkopf, an act to amend the Charter of Dewey Beach relating to the power to impose and collect a lodging tax. And finally, Senate Bill 245, sponsored by Representative Bush, an act to amend Title 25 of the Delaware Code relating to mortgages. If I could have a roll call, please.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll on House Consent Agenda H, consisting of House Bill 353, Senate Bill 201 with Senate Amendment Number 1, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 229, Senate Bill 236, and Senate Bill 245. Two-thirds vote required.
Mr. Bombeck.
Yes.
Mr. Bombeck, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chakwocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chakwocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Collins, yes. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
Yes.
Mr. Postles, yes. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short.
Yes.
Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 41 yes.
Having received a constitutional majority, House Consent Agenda H, consisting of House Bill 353, Senate Bill 201 with Senate Amendment 1, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 229, Senate Bill 236, and Senate Bill 245 is hereby declared passed the House. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that that the rules be suspended which interfere with action on consent agenda I.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that rules be suspended for action on House Consent Agenda I, consisting of Senate Bill 170, Senate Bill 210, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 239, Senate Bill 244, Senate Bill 246, Senate Bill 247, Senate Bill 248, Senate Bill 251, and Senate Bill 253. Mr. Chief Clerk, please read in Consent Agenda I by number only.
Mr. Speaker, consent agenda I consisting of the following bills: Senate Bill 170, Senate Bill 210, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 239, Senate Bill 244, Senate Bill 246, Senate Bill 247, Senate Bill 248, Senate Bill 251, Senate Bill 253. Mr. Speaker, two-thirds vote required. Mr. Speaker, this concludes the reading of consent agenda I. Mr. Bombeck.
Yes.
Mr. Bombeck, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King?
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson?
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chikwacha?
Yes.
Mr. Chikwacha, yes. Mr. Collins?
No.
Mr. Collins, no. Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes?
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith?
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan?
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley?
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes?
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Q Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko?
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst?
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Rosinski?
Yes.
Mr. Rosinski, yes. Mr. Postles?
Yes.
Mr. Postles, yes. Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried?
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short?
Yes.
Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup?
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick?
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola?
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick?
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 40 yes, 1 no on the motion.
I have received the required number of votes for suspension of rules. The rules are suspended. Consent agenda number 1 is now before us. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Consent agenda, I, it consists of 9 pieces of legislation. First one, House or Senate Bill 170, sponsored by Representative Ozinski, an act to amend Title 16 of the Delaware Code relating to medical marijuana. Senate Bill 210, sponsored by Representative Smick, an act to amend the Charter of Lewis relating to the power to impose and collect a lodging tax. Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 239, sponsored by Representative Ozinski, an act to amend Chapter 168, Volume 82 of the laws of the Delaware relating to contractor registration. Senate Bill 244, sponsored by Representative Bush, an act to amend Title 12 of the Delaware Code relating to the creation, regulation, operation, and dissolution of the statutory trust. Senate Bill 246, sponsored by Representative Siegfried, an act to amend Title 16 of the Delaware Code relating to health and safety and obligations of the healthcare providers for non-acute patients. Senate Bill 247, sponsored by Representative Matthews, an act to amend Title 20 of the Delaware Code relating to public protections during COVID-19 state of emergency and notarization. Senate Bill 248, sponsored by Representative Stephanie T. Bolden, an act to amend Title 29 of the Delaware Code relating to the disability insurance program. Senate Bill 251, sponsored by Representative Cook, an act to amend Title 20 of the Delaware Code relating to public protections during the COVID-19 state of emergency and marriage licenses. And the last bill, Senate Bill 253, sponsored by Representative John Viola, an act to amend Title 6 of the Delaware Code relating to price protections during the COVID-19 recovery period. If there aren't any questions, may I please have a roll call?
I do have a question. Representative Ruth Briggs King.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a technical question that I have, because a couple of the bills on here have a 3/5 vote requirement. And so I'm assuming that when we tally the numbers, we'll see that we have 3/5. But on the first bill, SB 170, it does have a fee line in there on line 39. And so I was just wondering for the record if that should also be a 3/5 vote. I'd asked that prior to going into session and did not have that clarified.
So it is a 2/3 vote required for the entire package, the entire agenda, which will cover a 3/5 vote. So a 3/5 vote is 25 votes, obviously, and 2/3 vote is 28. So by virtue of doing a 2/3 vote required, we're covering all the bases. We're getting the required number of votes for all the bills on there.
Thank you.
Representative Longhurst.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Chief Clerk, please call the roll on House Consent Agenda I, consisting of Senate Bill 170, Senate Bill 210, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 239, Senate Bill 244, Senate Bill 246, Senate Bill 247, Senate Bill 248, Senate Bill 251, Senate Bill 253, two-third vote required.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chikwocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chikwocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Collins, yes. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
Yes.
Mr. Postles, yes. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short. Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Voting yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 41 yes.
Having majority House consent agenda I consisting of Senate Bill 170, Senate Bill 210, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 239, Senate Bill 244, Senate Bill 246, Senate Bill 247, Senate Bill 248, Senate Bill 251, and Senate Bill 253 is hereby declared passed the House. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, we're going to the regular agenda. First on the list is House Substitute 1 for House Bill 348 with House Amendment 1 with a motion to suspend rules to Representative Bentz.
Representative Bentz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to move to have all rules suspended that would interfere with the consideration of House Substitute 1 to House Bill 348.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that rules be suspended for action on House Substitute 1 for House Bill 348. Mr. Chief Clerk, please read it in by title only.
Mr. Speaker, House Substitute 1 for House Bill 348, sponsored by Representative Bentz and Senator Townsend, an act to amend Titles 18 and 24 of the Delaware Code relating to telemedicine services. Mr. Speaker, this concludes the reading of House Substitute 1 for House Bill 348 by title only.
Chief Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules for action on House Substitute 1 for House Bill 348.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Carson, yes. Mr. Chikwocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chikwocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
No.
Mr. Collins, no. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
Yes.
Mr. Postles, yes. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short. Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call on the motion, 40 yes, 1 no.
Yeah, one of those kerfuffles. We have 3 different people muting me at some time, so you have to bear with us. Having received the required number of votes, the rules are suspended on House Substitute number 1 for House Bill 348, which is now before us. Representative Benz, I see there's a pre-filed amendment. Would you like to have it read in?
Please.
Mr. Chief Clerk, please read House Amendment number 1 to House Substitute 1 for House Bill 348.
Mr. Speaker, House Amendment 1 to House Substitute 1 to House Bill 348, sponsored by Representative Bentz. Mr. Speaker, this concludes the first reading of House Amendment 1 for House Substitute number 1 for House Bill 348 by title only.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Representative Bentz, House Amendment number 1 to House Bill 348 is now before us.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The amendment, what the amendment does is it basically limits out-of-state practitioners, so non-Delaware license holders who can practice in the state, to simply mental health providers. And there's no questions. I'll ask for a roll call.
I've got to have Representative Ramon clarify whether he wants to speak or whether he's just waving at me. He put his hand up and then he took it down. Representative Ramon, are you okay?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask a question about when we get to the bill, not the amendment.
Okay. That'd be fine. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll on House Amendment number 1, House Substitute number 1 for House Bill number 348.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Bentz.
Yes.
Mr. Bentz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chikwocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chikwocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Collins, yes. Mr. Cook. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q. Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
Yes.
Mr. Postles, yes. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short. Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman. Mr. Spiegelman absent. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Representative Spiegelman?
Voting yes.
Mr. Spiegelman from absent to voting yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 41 yes.
Having received sufficient votes, House Amendment number 1, the House substitute number 1 for House Bill 348 has declared passed the House. Representative Benz, House substitute 1 for House Bill 348 as amended by House Amendment number 1 is now before us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This piece of legislation takes what was featured in a lot of the facets that are featured in the governor's emergency order regarding increasing access to telehealth, telemedicine, and puts it into state statute with a sunset date of July 1st, 2021. So it'll extend a lot of those provisions that will help Delawareans gain access to telehealth services for another year, hopefully get us through a lot of this situation we're dealing with COVID-19. And then, we can revisit this legislation and some of these policies as we go through the next year and get through this crisis.
Representative Ramon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Open dialogue with the sponsor, please.
Granted.
Representative Benz, I was asked by one of my constituents in one of the businesses that it affects, just to ask 2 questions out of clarity. I think both of them, they just went on the record to make sure they're interpreting it correctly. In lines like 107 to 110, there is actually a statement of a process that needs to be gone through for the Division of Professional Regulations to require out-of-state providers practicing in Delaware to complete the medical request form. If they've already done that for the state of emergency with the governor, does that process needs to take place again for them to be able to stay current? Or is this only if they haven't done that yet?
So the amendment takes those provisions out. The amendment we just attached to the bill takes that out.
Thank you. Okay, that was obviously I was reading it off of the original bill, so
sure.
I appreciate that. Second is with the other question was with the compliance and the statement that any other registrations required could be implemented. That is, as far as the businesses are concerned, addresses the logistics of the bill, not any fees that could be charged, correct? That particular statement doesn't address them being able to modify or adjust fees without going through our purview or readdressing it to a bill. Is that correct or not?
I am only like 75% sure exactly what you're asking, but I do think you're correct from how I am understanding you.
Yeah, just for clarity, the bill can't, the department cannot just go raise the fees because of that verbiage that's added in there, which gives them any other regulations requirements that they can adjust. That doesn't give them empowerment to change the fees, correct?
I don't believe so. That's not the intention of that wording.
That was all. They just needed clarity on those 2 topics. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Representative Ramon. Representative Benz, there's no further questions. What's your pleasure?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Chief Clerk, please call the roll on House substitute number 1 for House Bill 348 as amended by House Amendment number 1.
Mr. Bombeck.
Yes.
Mr. Bombeck, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chicocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chicocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Collins, yes. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q. Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalka.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalka, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
Yes.
Mr. Postles, yes. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short. Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Voting yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 41 yes.
I've received this constitutional majority, House Substitute 1 for House Bill 348 as amended by House Amendment Number 1 is declared passed the House. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're going to go to item number 2 on the agenda, House Bill 350 with House Amendment 1 to Representative Chakotcha.
Representative Chakotcha.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request that House Bill 350 be given its third and final reading and brought before the House for consideration.
Mr. Chief Clerk, please read in House Bill 350 by title only.
Mr. Speaker, House Bill number 350, sponsored by Representative Chakotcha and Representative Bolden and Representative Cook and Representative Dorsey Walker and Representative Kendra Johnson and Representative Minor Brown and Senator Lockman and Senator Brown and other representatives and senators, an act to amend Title 11 of the Delaware Code relating to chokeholds. Mr. Speaker, this concludes the reading of House Bill 350 by title only.
Thank you, Mr. Puffer. Representative Chakotcha, House Bill 350 is now before us. We do have a pre-filed amendment by Representative Kowalko. Representative Kowalko, I understand that you want to make a short statement and then you want to strike the amendment rather. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. I will be honest, I introduced this amendment because quite frankly, I want to express the intentions or express the opinion I have, and a lot of people, the public has now, a growing distrust in the police officers' intentions when they misbehave, whatever way you want to couch that. But looking at this, I think monumental accomplishment by the Black Caucus and by Representative Chakotcha. I realize that my issue in this thing, making it not justifiable under any circumstances, should be a separate bill because to deflect from the importance or to even somehow diminish the ultimate accomplishment that comes in this bill, which is necessary reform, a first step in necessary reform of the police movement. I do not want to do that, and I never want to do that and diminish or deflect from the accomplishments and efforts of Representative Chakotcha and the Black Caucus. So I have decided that I will strike this amendment and reserving the right naturally for next year maybe to talk to the task force about a separate bill, but it does not seem appropriate this time. I think that would interfere with what we're trying to accomplish and what Representative Chakotcha is trying to accomplish with this bill. So I want to thank him for his efforts in this, and I would strike that amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Kowalko. House Amendment Number 1 to House Bill 350 is hereby stricken. Representative Chakotcha, House Bill 350 is now before us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Delaware Legislative Black Caucus, I'm honored to present this bill. It is one of the measures of our Justice for All platform. And in addition, we'll establish, and as was just mentioned by Representative Kowalko, the Law Enforcement Accountability Task Force, as well as the African American Task Force in partnership with Delaware State University to look at disparities and offer suggestions for legislative changes that address the issues of institutional racism and that can improve the quality of life for African Americans and people of color throughout our state. The first two bills that were presented for the Justice for All agenda were Senate Bill 191, which is the Equal Rights Amendment, and this bill before us now, House Bill 350, which creates the crime of aggravated strangulation. We truly believe that both of these bills are extremely necessary, and given that the statement truly give a statement for our state and for the 150th General Assembly that we intend to truly pursue justice for all. Given the times that are upon our nation, understanding the pulse of our nation and how there's so many cities and states truly standing up and amongst the winds of change and embracing this opportunity to address systematic racism. We believe that this bill, again, is extremely needed, and we believe that it's a very important step for our Justice for All platform. As a Black man in America, a Black man, as a law-abiding American, I cannot begin to express the hurt and pain, just outright disappointment at times that you have with interactions with law enforcement as a Black man. As a member, one of the 2 Black men in this body, I myself and Representative Frank Cook, we had a meeting with the other members of our legislative Black caucus from the House members. And we share repeatedly about how many times we have been pulled over by police officers. And this is saying that Representative Cook, who himself is a retired police officer, myself as a former city councilman, being pulled over repeatedly, countless times. And I say this, and you're being pulled over and just harassed merely because you're Black. And to emphasize that point, I have not had a traffic ticket in over 25 years, but I've been pulled over again countless times. And you understand that distrust and what it means within your community when you see that public trust and the confidence in law enforcement beginning to deteriorate. We've all seen the horrific video of Mr. George Floyd and his murder right before the world, Mr. Eric Garner and his murder using these ill-advised tactics with restrict air and blood. We're saying here in Delaware that there is no need for chokeholds. There is no police agency within our state that trains its officers to utilize chokeholds. So there is no need for them to be utilized. That's what this bill is saying, that it's very important for us to emphasize that fact, that this bill is about truly restoring public trust, about helping to build that accountability. And as Representative Cook begins the work of the law enforcement task force, this will be an important measure to help begin to build that conversation with our law enforcement agencies throughout our state about how we begin to do that. So today we say again that this bill is one that's very necessary as we think about from end to end of our state. There have been protests demanding for change and accountability from lower Delaware to northern Delaware. From Wilmington, we've had, there were 1,000 people out in front of the courthouse. And then in Representative Heffernan's district, there was just one single elderly white woman standing in front of Troop 1 with a Black Lives Matter sign. So this is all throughout our nation, all throughout our state, this call for change, realizing that we must embrace this moment to truly address systematic racism and say to our police officers that we recognize and we uphold and we value them for their service, but we also want to hold accountability and help to rebuild this public trust. This bill 350, in the bottom line, it's about saving lives. It's about saving lives. So I'll respectfully request and hope that all of the members of this body can support us with establishing this crime of aggravated strangulation. And if there are no questions, Mr. Speaker, I would ask for a roll call.
I do have one speaker, Representative Lyndon Urick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Open dialogue with the sponsor.
Granted.
I rise in support of this bill. Recently, I had a chance to participate with a community town hall in the town of Camden, where individuals that have participated with the now known as the Camden 22 protest brought their concerns to Camden Town Hall. One of the participants, Chief Mark Whitney, the chief of the town of Camden Police, shared with the group that as he is a former instructor at the State Police Academy, that chokeholds have not been taught, have not been utilized, have not been enforced in regard to training for over 20 plus years. With that being the case, I rise in 100% support of this bill, in that if someone has not been trained to use this deadly force, we absolutely 100% should hold them accountable if they use this grotesque action in a line of duty. So I'd like to thank the sponsor for bringing this bill forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Urick, for your support and standing in recognition of the importance of this measure. And on Monday, after the committee hearing, Representative Cook and I had the opportunity to spend a couple hours after the committee meeting speaking to members of the Camden 22 group. So it is definitely very timely that you would mention that, and very poignant to our cause, and again, our stand for justice for all. Thank you.
I have no other questions. Would you like a roll call?
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chief Clerk, please call the roll on House Bill number 350.
Mr. Bombeck.
Yes.
Mr. Bombeck, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chakwocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chakwocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Collins, yes. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalka.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalka, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
Yes.
Mr. Postles, yes. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short. Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Voting yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 41 yes.
Having States Constitution Majority, House Bill 350 is declared passed the House. Congratulations, Representative Chakwocha. I'll come back to you for some comments.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Black Caucus, I just want to say thank you to everyone. It seems a simple thing that we can do, but again, this is about saving lives. And as a Black man, it's very important to say that we do matter. I thank the House leadership in both sides, both caucus, for allowing this to be heard. I thank every individual member for your vote today. And I thank the members of the Black Caucus for staying united on this measure. And I look forward to, again, having continued support from our 150th General Assembly and going forward as we advance the Justice for All platform. Again, thank you, and thank you to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Chakwocha. Thank you for your leadership. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're going to continue on item number 3, House Bill 351, to Representative Osinski with a motion to suspend rules.
Representative Osinski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I have a motion to suspend all rules so the House can take action on HB 351?
Second.
Been moved and seconded that rules be suspended for action on House Bill 351. Mr. Clerk, please read it in by title only.
Mr. Speaker, House Bill 351, sponsored by Representative Osinski and Senator Walsh, an act to amend Titles 29 and 19 of the Delaware Code relating to unemployment compensation in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Speaker, this concludes the reading of House Bill 351 by title only.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules for action on House Bill 351.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady. Mr. Brady absent. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chicocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chicocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
No.
Mr. Collins, no. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q. Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews. Mr. Matthews absent. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
No.
Mr. Postles, no. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Voting yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
Representative Brady,
Voting yes.
Mr. Brady from absent to voting yes.
Representative Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews from absent to voting yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call on the motion, 39 yes, 2 no.
Having received sufficient votes, the rules are suspended for House Bill 351, which is now before us. Representative Osinski.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Prior to the pandemic, Department of Unemployment Insurance handled approximately 500 claims a week. Currently, the average number of pandemic-related unemployment, extended, and new federal benefit claims have averaged approximately 10,000 per week. Due to the large increase in claims, it has also created a large increase of appeal hearings. Currently, the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board consists of 5 members. This act authorizes the expansion of the Unemployment Insurance Appeals Board and authorizes it to hold more hearings if and when necessary to hear unemployment insurance appeals, and will sunset June 30th, 2021. This act also defers extended benefits under state law until after the payment of pandemic emergency unemployment compensation, as is required by the Federal CARES Act. If there are no questions, roll call.
There are no questions. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll on House Bill 351.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes.
I'm on it.
Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Carson, yes. Mr. Chicocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chicocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Collins, yes. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q. Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
Yeah, be good. How about coffee?
Mr.
Yeah.
Postles, yes. Mr. Ramon.
Don't leave. Don't, I
Yes.
mean, you don't have to leave for it.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short.
Yes.
Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Voting yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 41 yes.
Received this constitutional majority. House Bill 351 is declared passed the House. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We're going to go to item number 4 on the agenda, Senate Bill 191 to Representative Sherry Dorsey Walker.
Representative Dorsey Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request that Senate Bill 191 is read into the record by title only, please.
Chief Clerk, please read in Senate Bill 91 by title only.
Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill number 191, sponsored by Senator Brown and Senator McBride and Senator Lopez and Senator Sturgeon and Representative Dorsey Walker and Representative Minor Brown and other senators and representatives, an act proposing an amendment to Article 1 of the Delaware Constitution relating to equal rights. 2/3 vote required. Mr. Speaker, this concludes the reading of Senate Bill 191 by title only.
Representative Dorsey Walker, Senate Bill 191 is now before us. The floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chief Clerk. Since the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution was adopted on July the 9th, 1868, with Delaware ratifying it in 1901, at least 15 states have added a provision to their state constitution that prohibits the denial or abridgment of equal rights under the law based on race, color, or national origin. In 2019, Delaware amended the state constitution to prohibit the denial or abridgment of equal rights under the law based on sex, but no such prohibition exists regarding race, color, or national origin. This act is the first leg of a constitutional amendment to add race, color, and national origin to Article 1, Title 21 of the Delaware Constitution to explicitly declare that protection against discrimination based on race, color, and national origin as one of Delaware's fundamental rights. This act requires a greater than majority vote for passage because Article 16, Title 1 of the Delaware Constitution requires the affirmative vote of 2/3 of the members elected to each House of the General Assembly when the General Assembly amends the Delaware Constitution. This is the first piece of legislation brought forth by the Delaware Legislative Black Caucus in conjunction with our Justice for All agenda. This bill passed the Senate unanimously last week, led by our chair, Senator Darius Brown. And I'd like to pause just for a moment and thank this body for passing House Bill 350. A special thank you to our House leadership for hearing the cries of the Delaware Legislative Black Caucus. Special thanks to Representative Minor Brown for being a co-sponsor on this, as well as Representative Cook, Representative Chiqualcha, Bomback, Bolden, Briggs King, Heffernan, Jakes, Kendra Johnson, and Representative Siegfried. If there aren't any questions, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to call for a roll call, please.
There are no questions, Representative Dorsey Walker. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll on Senate Bill number 191. 2/3 vote required.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chiquocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chiquocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Collins, yes. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalka.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalka, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
Yes.
Mr. Postles, yes. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short.
Yes.
Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Voting yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 41 yes.
Having received its constitutional majority, Senate Bill 191 has declared passed the House. Congratulations, Representative Dorsey Walker. The floor is yours again for comment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would just like to thank this body for passing this first leg of the ERA unanimously. But most importantly, I would like to take a moment to just help you understand that in this moment, you are letting us know that Black Lives Matter. And I thank you for that. God bless you.
Thank you, Representative Dorsey Walker. Representative Ramon, your hand came in late. I don't know whether you wanted to ask a question or a comment on the bill itself. It was not registered on our screen until after we got into the roll call. Did you have a comment you would like to make?
I did, Mr. Speaker, but I wanted to wait until after both of the bills have been passed, and I could do it if you don't mind. Thank you. I'm going to be very truthful. I was contemplating whether I was even going to do this or not, but then after listening to Representative Chwolka and Representative Dorsey Walker, I just feel compelled. I hope this is taken in the context that it's meant to be delivered. I actually wrote it so I don't get emotional and I don't screw it up. So I'm going to read, and I hope that's not inappropriate either. I sit here today deeply troubled after weeks of reflecting about my own upbringing and many personal situations that made me believe I got this. I understand racism. I now realize I don't get it because I am not a person of color. I thought because for years I babysat children of color, I hired people of color, I run my companies with people of color, my customer base is very, very racially diverse. I thought I could not be a racist, and I completely understood this issue. After all, I've been a proponent of all equality issues, regardless of race, sexual preference, gender, or religion. I really believe that I completely understood racism. So what? So why am I sharing this now? Well, over the past few weeks, our country has been faced with questions regarding systemic racism. With thoughtful self-examination into racism, I am hopeful our state and our country can better understand the root of what is actually going on in this crisis. I've learned that I will never understand nor know what it's like to step on the elevator floor on floor 1 and get off on floor 2 because I was concerned that the other rider was uncomfortable with my presence. I will never know what it's like to sit on the other side of an interview table and wonder if the interviewer is looking at my qualifications or looking at the color of my skin. I'll never experience the apprehension felt when entering into an establishment because of the fear of rejection or the suspicion of potential wrongdoing simply because I'm Black. These feelings are the results of a history of racism, although unintended, that many can never imagine. It is easy to suggest we exercise compassion, understanding, and respect for everyone, regardless of our race, religion, or sexual preference. But even more important is to admit we need to listen and learn with compassion every day. Each of our personal life experiences make us unique. We need to recognize this and acknowledge that we may not get it. To say we do, to friends of color is sometimes harmful and can be condescending. Although not intended, again, we may be belittling one's actual feelings. My point for this statement today is I am grateful to our Black Caucus for their patience and their effort to help us understand and get it. But having committee meetings for one set of bills, which we vote on, while not for other bills we vote on, can be construed as biased and unfair. I am hopeful this effort to reflect openly with my fellow House members is recognized as an attempt to help each of us reflect and make decisions thoughtfully going forward. We are all well-intentioned people with good hearts. Let's all do our part as we lean on our Black Caucus friends and members for honest guidance and perspective. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to share my thoughts.
Thank you, Representative Ramon. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Representative Ramon, for your comments. I would just like to add, if we're going to talk the talk, we need to walk the walk. I'm going to go to item number 5 on the agenda, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 243 to Representative Bomback.
Representative Bomback.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Could I have Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 243 read in for the third and final time and considered by the chamber?
Chief Clerk, please read it in Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 243 by title only.
Mr. Speaker, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill number 243, sponsored by Senator Hansen and Senator Poore and Senator Del Callo and Representative Brady and Representative Bomback and Representative Griffith. An act to amend Title 29 of the Delaware Code relating to the Freedom of Information Act. Mr. Speaker, this concludes the third and final reading of Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 243 by title only.
Representative Bomback, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 243 is now before us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm going to use some comments that Senator Hansen used when she brought the bill through the Senate. One important thing that this bill does is incorporate the provisions of House Concurrent Resolution 85, which we used for our virtual meetings, so that if we find ourselves in another state of emergency, we can continue to meet as we have been doing over the past 3 months. This bill allows all public bodies to meet virtually in the case of another state of emergency and sets the rules for compliance under our Freedom of Information Act, including notice, transparency, and public participation. Importantly, working with the disability community, this bill allows any member of a public body with a disability, as already defined in our code, the ability to participate virtually on that body as a reasonable accommodation. Recognizing that we're all going to continue to be part of this experiment going forward and utilizing virtual technology, and we are going to learn many things about what works and what does not, this legislation will sunset on June 30th, 2021. This will give us additional time to assess how meeting virtually under this legislation meets our needs as a community, and we can change any or all of the requirements set forth in this bill, or simply extend the requirements with the benefit of 2020 hindsight. If there are no questions, roll call.
Do have Representative Rich Collins has his hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do have deep concerns about this bill. Many of you know that I ran an organization called the Positive Growth Alliance for 13 years. One of the major responsibilities I had was attending meetings of regulatory bodies, keeping abreast of what was going on there, trying to make our opinion known. It was basically impossible to keep up with because I was one person. State agencies and employees who work on this stuff are many, many, many. And I would say just about all of the groups that do what I did today have very, very few people who are actually able to engage in this work. So these electronic meetings, the bill makes clear this is transitionary, looking towards the future, and I sense that we will be going more and more toward these electronic meetings. Now, these meetings have great advantages, I admit. People can listen in from home much easier than going to a meeting. But it also makes it dramatically easier for these state agencies to schedule overwhelming numbers of meetings that no citizen or group will be able to keep up with. So for this reason, I am opposed to this bill. And if anyone's interested, concerned about bureaucratic overreach of government, where our influence as elected officials is constantly diminished, which means the voice of the people is constantly diminished, I would ask you to join me. I'll also point out to you that in most public hearings, the opinions expressed by our citizens have no legal weight whatsoever. After they're done, the state law enables the agency to do whatever they want to. So I ask you to join me, anyone who's interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Collins. If there's no further questions, roll call.
Mr. Chief Clerk, please call the roll on Senate Substitute Number 1 for Senate Bill 243, two-thirds vote required.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chikwacha.
Yes.
Mr. Chikwacha, yes. Mr. Collins.
No.
Mr. Collins, no. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles. Mr. Postal is absent. Mr. Ramon.
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short.
Yes.
Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman.
Voting yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes.
What do we need? Representative Postles? Representative Postles? Wrap it up.
Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 39 yes, 1 no, 1 absent.
And received this Constitution majority, Senate Substitute 1 for Senate Bill 243 is declared passed. Representative Bruce Briggs King, I see your hand raised, just came up.
Thank you. I just wanted to make a comment after the passage of that. I think it's very important that as we've gone through the pandemic and the crisis, that we've learned to do things in many new ways, including virtual meetings, virtual JFC, and virtual session. And we've had some opportunities in the past to do things differently, and we've sort of shunned those. And so I hope this is an opportunity for us when we come back in a regular session next year to look at some bills about opening up legislative hall to the process for live streaming, as well as looking at other things, how to do business in the future more electronically or in the virtual world. I also want to say that passing this bill will enable Delaware citizens to FOIA information in a different format than they had before. Sometimes it becomes very costly for members to request FOIA and have to pay for that. So that now that we're doing this virtually and electronically, hopefully it becomes easier and more financially feasible for many people to request the information. So that's one of the reasons that I supported this today. I think it's time that we really start looking at how we do business, and we look at how we can do business so that people can be more engaged on an everyday basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Collins, you have a comment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I made clear my opposition to this bill, but I will say I will back up Representative Briggs King in regards to the legislation that is pending regarding electronic participation of our General Assembly meetings. The people need to know what we are doing. So I would be in full support next year of any legislation that would make all of our meetings, as far as the General Assembly goes, go out on the airways. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Longhurst.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, we're going to go to the final bill on the agenda, Senate Bill 249, to Representative Heffernan.
Representative Heffernan, I'm going to need a motion to suspend rules.
I'd like to request a motion to suspend any and all rules that interfere with hearing Senate Bill 249.
Second.
Moved and seconded, rules be suspended for action on Senate Bill 249. Mr. Clerk, please read in by title only.
Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 249, sponsored by Senator Pardee and Representative Heffernan, an act to amend Title VII of the Delaware Code relating to the Clean Air Act Title V Operating Permit Program. Mr. Speaker, this concludes the third and final reading of Senate Bill 249 by title only.
Mr. Chief Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules for action on Senate Bill 249.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes. True.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chicocho.
Yes.
Mr. Chicocho, yes. Mr. Collins.
No.
Mr. Collins, no. Mr. Cook.
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker.
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes.
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray.
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith.
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan.
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley.
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes.
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Q Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko.
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst.
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown.
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris.
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski.
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles.
No.
Mr. Postles, no. Mr. Ramon. Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried.
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short.
Yes.
Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup.
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick.
No.
Mr. Smick, no. Mr. Spiegelman.
Yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin.
No.
Mr. Vanderwin, no. Mr. Viola.
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams.
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick.
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call on the motion to suspend rules, 37 yes, 4 no.
Having received sufficient votes, rules are suspended for Senate Bill 249, which is now before us. Representative Heffernan.
Thank you. I would like Senate Bill 249 read in.
It's already been read in.
Oh, okay.
It's now before us.
Senate Bill 249, what this does is every 3 years, we have to, as a General Assembly, renew the Title V, which is the Clean Air Act, Title V Operating Permits Program, the annual fees for the facilities. There is a stakeholder group and a committee that is contained all the different regulated industries and our state and other stakeholders. All these fees were agreed upon by everyone, the regulated industries, and the Chamber of Commerce has also concurred and supported it. And if there's no further questions, I would request a roll call.
I don't see any questions. Mr. Chief Clerk, please call the roll on Senate Bill number 249, 3/5 vote required.
Mr. Bomback.
Yes.
Mr. Bomback, yes. Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Ms. Bennett, yes. Mr. Benz.
Yes.
Mr. Benz, yes. Ms. Bolden.
Yes.
Ms. Bolden, yes. Mr. Brady.
Yes.
Mr. Brady, yes. Mrs. Briggs King.
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs King, yes. Mr. Bush.
Yes.
Mr. Bush, yes. Mr. Carson.
Yes.
Mr. Carson, yes. Mr. Chicocha.
Yes.
Mr. Chicocha, yes. Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Collins, yes. Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Cook, yes. Mrs. Dorsey Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Dorsey Walker, yes. Mr. Dukes?
Yes.
Mr. Dukes, yes. Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Gray, yes. Mrs. Griffith?
Yes.
Mrs. Griffith, yes. Mrs. Heffernan?
Yes.
Mrs. Heffernan, yes. Mr. Hensley?
Yes.
Mr. Hensley, yes. Mr. Jakes?
Yes.
Mr. Jakes, yes. Mrs. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson, yes. Mr. Q Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Q Johnson, yes. Mr. Kowalko?
Yes.
Mr. Kowalko, yes. Mrs. Longhurst?
Yes.
Mrs. Longhurst, yes. Mr. Lynn?
Yes.
Mr. Lynn, yes. Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews, yes. Mrs. Minor Brown?
Yes.
Mrs. Minor Brown, yes. Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell, yes. Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Morris, yes. Mr. Osinski?
Yes.
Mr. Osinski, yes. Mr. Postles?
No.
Mr. Postles, no. Mr. Ramon?
Yes.
Mr. Ramon, yes. Mr. Siegfried?
Yes.
Mr. Siegfried, yes. Mr. Short? Mr. Short, yes. Mr. Shoup?
Yes.
Mr. Shoup, yes. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Smith, yes. Mr. Smick?
Yes.
Mr. Smick, yes. Mr. Spiegelman?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegelman, yes. Mr. Vanderwin?
Yes.
Mr. Vanderwin, yes. Mr. Viola?
Yes.
Mr. Viola, yes. Mrs. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Williams, yes. Mr. Yerrick?
Yes.
Mr. Yerrick, yes. Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, the roll call reveals 40 yes, 1 no.
Having received the constitutional majority, Senate Bill number 249 is declared passed in the House. Representative Longhurst?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Are there any communications?
No, there are not.
If none, I move that we recess to call of the chair.
The House stands in recess to the call of the chair.